welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. In today's video, as you can see, we are turning ourselves into little deer, little Bambis. That's what we're doing today. Everything that I'm using in today's video is from the drugstore and is very affordable. The only thing I'm not using from the drugstore is this Item Beauty Brow Chow. However, this is very affordable. It's 14 bucks on their website, but you can use whatever eyebrow product you have on deck. It doesn't necessarily matter. But aside from this, everything that I'm using in today's video is from the drugstore and is very affordable. This look was super easy to do. It's definitely a look that you can do last minute Halloween. Very easy, and you can probably do this look with everything that you already have at home. So if you'd like to see how to get this super easy, very affordable deer Halloween look, then keep on watching. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm doing here is taking my e.l.f. matte putty primer and using this to prime my face. This is one of the best mattifying drugstore primers that you can get. I would highly recommend it if you have normal to oily skin. Next up, I'm taking my Maybelline Superstay foundation. This is a fantastic drugstore foundation if you have normal to oily skin. Very full coverage. However, when you're applying it, I would work in sections just because it does tend to dry down super quickly. But I'm just applying this with a kimchi chic sponge. You can use whatever sponge you like, whatever you typically apply your foundation with. Next up, I'm taking my L'Oréal Infallible Full Wear Concealer and just applying it underneath my eyes, around my nose, around my mouth, and some on my chin. I'm basically doing my base how I typically would any other day and just blending it out with the same kimchi chic sponge. Now I'm taking my Catrice Nude Illusion Setting Powder. This stuff is so good. If you're looking for a good mattifying translucent setting powder, I would highly recommend this. Some translucent setting powders have a sort of white cast, however I feel like this one doesn't do that. But I'm just applying this under my eyes and then blending it out with a little Morphe brush. Now I'm taking the iconic Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and bronzing my face with this. I am going pretty heavy with this bronzer to really get that sort of deer-like effect. I'm just putting this where I would typically put bronzer. I'm just layering a little bit more than I normally would, just because later whenever we apply the spots, we really want those spots to stand out. And I'm also taking this on my forehead, and I'm using this to contour my nose as well. Now I'm taking my Rimmel London Radiance Brick. This is an oldie but a goodie. I love this bronzer. If you're looking for a nice, radiant, super affordable bronzer, I would highly recommend this. This one is just in the shade 001 Light. This has been out for a super long time. As you can see, I have totally hit pan on mine, but this is really, really good radiant bronzer, and I'm just basically layering it on top of the Physicians Formula bronzer. Next up, I'm using my Colourpop blush. This is in the shade Crossroads. It is this really pretty sort of orangey, peachy, almost red color. This you can't necessarily find at every drugstore. However, they do have it at Ulta in this affordable section. And now I'm using my Item Beauty Brow Chow eyebrow pencil. This is also not available at the drugstore. You can use whatever eyebrow pencil you'd like. This is just the only one that I had on deck that was relatively affordable. It is a very, very good eyebrow pencil. I would highly recommend it. I believe it cost about $14, but you can really use whatever eyebrow pencil you would like for this look. Now I'm taking even more of my butter bronzer and applying a little bit more in the areas that I want it, just where I would typically contour and up on my forehead. Now I'm taking my Wet n Wild Coffee Cat eyeshadow palette and going into the shade Free Refills. This is a very, very affordable drugstore palette. It has absolutely beautiful warm tone brown shades in it, which is exactly what we need for this look today. And I'm just applying this with a fluffy Morphe brush all over my crease and a little bit on my lid, and just really packing it on and blending it out. Now I'm taking the shade Pop Pop Cappuccino from the palette, just on a little fluffy Lauralee Los Angeles brush, and really focusing this color on the outer corner. And I'm going back in with the brush that I used for the Free Refills shade and just lightly blending out this darker brown color. Now I'm taking the first shade from the palette, Cream and Sugar, and applying this shade all over my lid just with a little angled Morphe brush. Now I'm taking my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil and using it to line my lower waterline. This is what's going to make our eyes look really big and really doe-like. Now I'm taking some of the Free Refills shade on a smaller little Morphe brush and applying it to the lower lash line. However, I am not taking it all the way to the inner corner. I'm taking it to the basically middle of my eyebrow and dragging it down sort of in a diagonal shaped. This is what's going to make our eyes look really, really big, really wide awake, really doe-like. Now I'm just taking the Pop Pop Cappuccino shade and applying it to the lower lash line as well, just dragging it down in a sort of diagonal way. As you can see here, I'm not taking it to the inner corner. I'm definitely dragging it down. Now I'm going back in with my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk and putting little spots all over my face. I'm basically just stamping on where I want the spots to be. These don't have to be perfect. They're pretty random. I'm just stamping them on all over the areas where I put the bronzer. Now I'm just putting some spots on my forehead where I put the bronzer as well. Now I'm taking some of my NYX white eyeliner and I'm going to try to make my eyes look even bigger than what they look like right now by drawing a little diagonal line right above where I made the eyeshadow line. Now I'm just using the same eyeliner to draw smaller, more defined spots and just blending them out with my finger to make it look a little bit more natural, I guess you could say. Now I'm taking my Wet n Wild Megaliner, one of my favorite eyeliners of all time, drugstore, high-end. I love this stuff. And I'm basically just adding a wing. I'm really trying to make it a little bit thicker than I would typically make my eyeliner. And I'm not taking it all the way to my inner corner. I'm just taking it from halfway from my eye and dragging it all the way out. Now I'm using the eyeliner and placing it on the lower lash line and dragging it down to where it meets the white eyeliner that I made earlier. Now I'm taking some of my favorite mascara. This is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Mascara, and I'm just applying it to my upper lashes like I typically would any other day. This is one of the best drugstore mascaras out there. Y'all have probably heard that before. It is just so good. And when I'm applying it to my lower lashes, I'm not applying it to my inner corner eyelashes. I'm only applying it to the outer eyelashes. I'm really trying to keep that sort of big eye look, so I don't want to add any mascara to my inner corner lashes. Now I'm just taking a bit more of the Rimmel London Radiance Brick bronzer and applying it to my nose, just to make it look a little bit more contoured, a little bit more glowy. Now I'm using my Coty Airspun Loose highlighter and glowing it up a little bit, and just applying this to the high points of my cheeks and a little bit on my nose. Now I'm just taking a little bit of the highlighter on a Luxie pointed brush and applying it to the inner corner of my eyes. Now I'm just taking some more of my NYX white eyeliner and putting it on where I would typically put on freckles and just tapping it on and blending it out with my finger. Now I'm putting on some fake eyelashes. These ones are from Colourpop. They're in the shade Flavor Mami. Now I'm using my Wet n Wild Megaliner and drawing on the nose. I'm trying to make this in a sort of sweetheart shape. I'm just trying to follow the natural curve of my nose. And I'm also using the liner to fill in the nose. Now I'm just drawing a little line going down from my nose to my upper lip. Now I'm taking some of my Rimmel London liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Pitch Black, and I'm only applying this to my upper lip. Now I'm taking some of my Maybelline lipstick in the shade 755 Nude Thrill and applying it to my lower lip. Alright you guys, so this is the final look. I did go ahead and put my hair into little ear sort of shapes just to add to the look. This look was super simple and easy to do. Everything that I used today was very affordable. You could find most of this stuff at the drugstore, and I'm really happy with the way this turned out. If you end up recreating this look, you can tag me in it at Kayla Alligator on Instagram. All of my social medias will be in the description box down below, as well as everything that I used on my face today, just in case you want to try some of this stuff out. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it.